low post, mid post, high post, post game sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Post Game Sports. How y'all feeling out there tonight? Today we playing Respect It or Check It. We're running down some NBA news, some NFL news, some WNBA news, and of course some college football news. I know y'all been itching. But before we get to that, man, I got some very special gentlemen I want to introduce to y'all tonight. Rob of WTP Sports Dudes. How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great this evening, man. The weather here in Columbus, Ohio, the past week has been beautiful. I know we're going to get a little cold front coming in next week, but I'm enjoying it right now. I'm doing great, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The man with the master plan. And I got my homie, Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10. How you feeling tonight, homie?
Man, feeling pretty good, man. Blessed. Thankful to be able to do what we do, man. Like Unc said, man, the weather is feeling good here. I've been wiping my sweat. I haven't turned the air on in the house yet, but I definitely got the fan giving me a good breeze, feeling the breeze with the window up, man. As the older generation would teach me at a young age, man, and I'm taking that in, getting that fresh air. It's peaceful. So definitely ready to get into another episode of Respect It or Check It, man. Loving what you do. And man, it's a great show as well, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, no, I appreciate y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, these people you see on your screen are some of the finest sports analysts on the continent. Thank you, Moss. Let's get right into it, man. We got a lot of topics. I want to start off with this first because it was announced today. The NBA and the NBPA have ruled in favor of Lakers Luka Doncic and Pistons Cade Cunningham on their extraordinary circumstances challenge for the 65 game award rule, making both eligible for all season honors such as MVP, all NBA teams. Rob, I'm gonna start with you on this one, homie. You respecting or checking this?
Man, I'm respecting this all day because I mentioned that a couple of podcasts ago that
Yes,
I
sir.
think that Kay Cunningham definitely should be able to be eligible for some of these awards. I think he's played in 61 games. He just happened to suffer a freak injury, a knee to his back that collapsed his lung, I believe it was. I think he deserved to have an opportunity because of the fantastic season he had. Luka Doncic as well, man. Both of those guys have played phenomenally this season. And I think that the fact that they played the majority of the games this basketball season, they they should have a special circumstance for them to be able to be up for these awards. So I'm respecting it all day because I was hoping that this would happen.
Yes.
Already. Mossberg, you
Man.
respecting or checking this, homie?
You know me, man. I'm respecting it all the way. I love what both guys has done for not just the team, but for the franchises. They've kind of put them on their back, this season and done some of the inevitable. Even though we got Luca with LeBron, you see what he's meant to the LA team itself this season not being there. And we see what Cade has done for the city of Detroit, Motown. They really playing music in Detroit now with the tune of Cade Cunningham's specialty and that Detroit team. I think, when you think of Detroit now, you think of basketball and having Cade in this discussion along with Luca respectively across the board, I think is going to make NBA that much more of something to watch these playoffs. And myself, I'm excited because, man, I'm tuned in to everything when it comes to these playoffs. And I totally respect this one for sure.
Yeah, good points, fellas. I'm definitely respecting this to the fullest because, like I said, the podcast Rob was talking about when we first talked about this was made for the load management folks. People, oh, my pinky hurt. I got to sit this one out. Oh,
Yeah.
I got a headache, this and that, back and forth. These are where serious injuries, where it's like, man, what can you do? You really can't punish these guys for those type of circumstances. So I'm respecting this and I'm happy that they ruled in favor of these young men. Anything else before we move on, fellas, on this topic?
Any
I
like
just like the fact that the NBA understood the situation and ruled on it, if I believe, in the right manner.
I would
Boss?
I would just say my thoughts would be, with this, how much more of a race is this MVP? This all NBA. These races are going to be special. I think, with games still left to play, some of these, races still to be determined and decided. I think this is going to be something to watch. So if you haven't watched an NBA, right now is the time. Tune in. You're going to see something special. And I'm going for K still as my MVP.
Okay, okay. Let's check out the chat. Kaylee Grace T6I2. Thank you. We appreciate it. Uh Pop, Pop in the chat. My daddy, studying like my daddy. Post game is my son, man. We appreciate it. We hope you can get up here with us, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's move on, fellas. LaMelo Ball. He got fined today for tripping Bam. But should LaMelo Ball be suspended? Now, keep in mind, he did the same exact thing 2 years ago. Now, he apologized. His response was, I got hit in my head. I didn't know where I was, and I'm going to check on Bam to see if he's okay. LaMelo Ball should be suspended for this. Respect it or check it, Moss.
It's tough. I've been looking at it. I know it happened a few years ago. I'm not gonna say nothing like this can't happen in the heat of the battle, in the intensity of the game. Um, I'm gonna say check it with the suspension. I think what this Charlotte team is doing this year is absolutely incredible. In a position to get themselves in the playoffs to play against anyone in that East, I think they'll just be a challenge for sure. But I'm gonna check it. It's a tough decision, but I'm gonna check it. I just think if you take him away from this playoffs in this play-in game, that's going to not just hurt Charlotte, but hurt the playoffs. Just my opinion.
What say you, Rob? You respecting or checking this?
I'm gonna check it as well, man. If this was a situation where he gonna get suspended during the regular season, okay, I'm cool with that. But we in playoff mode now, man, and I don't think that it will warrant him to get suspended because of the critical time it is in the NBA season. But like I said, if they did it during the regular season and wanted to suspending, I would be cool with that. But now that it's playoff time, now go ahead and get a guy a hefty fine and then let him know, listen, you can't be acting like this, man, in the future. This is your second chance doing this. You're going to get this nice little hefty fine.
Yeah.
But in the future, we might have to suspend you regardless of what time it is. But I'm going to check it right now because it's playoff time.
So I got a question for you, Rob, because I like that. Did you check it when they suspended Draymond Green against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals years back?
I would have checked it then too, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I was happy as hell that he got suspended, bro. Because I needed Cleveland to win that championship, and I needed LeBron to win it too. I didn't want it to happen, but shit, I was happy it did.
All right, my man. I respect it. I respect it. I'm checking this as well. I like the points you guys made. I also believe if this was regular season, he got to sit out for a few games, but it's playoff time. They hit him with a nice little fine, so hopefully he gets himself together because it's looking like one time is an accident, two times I don't know, my man.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets himself together. Got my pop. We is in the chat. He said, "That's right, Rob. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." So we're gonna stay in the NBA, and I got some statistics for y'all. The NBA had its highest viewership in 24 years, up 86% from last season. Now, keep in mind, fellas, you gotta have multiple streaming apps to catch. If you're an NBA head and you want to catch all the games, you gotta have multiple streaming apps, right? So
Yeah.
this came as a surprise to me seeing these numbers. But Rob, are you respecting or checking this?
I'm respecting it for the simple fact that I know now that young people they love this style of play of basketball. I think we got the popularity of basketball at an all-time high. You got so many different people from so many different backgrounds that love the game of basketball. Viewership was eventually going to, skyrocket like we seeing it skyrocket now by those statistics you just gave us. But the fact that young people, man, they really love basketball, man, and the style of play that we see now. I think back in the past, the game was a little bit slower, and the old heads love watching it. But now it's such a fast paced game, and we know how young people love fast paced everything. So I think that's the reason why it's so high. And I like it because I want the NBA and all other sports to be able to be successful and their viewership increase year after year after year after year.
Yes, sir. My man Mossberg, you respecting or checking this?
I'm I'm leaning towards the respecting it as well. The reason I say that myself, I know it's something we talked about and how much we, haven't watched it over the years, but I said I would tune into it more this year. Coming in 2026, I've actually been doing that. There's so many outlets out there to where you can watch the games. I've even watched Philippines basketball online and seeing the popularity, like Unc said, that's over there that they see and watch here. In the US, this basketball game is global, man, and is so global. So, like you said, the growth of the sport is crazy. So I'm definitely going with the respected on this one for me.
Yeah, I gotta respect it. I just can't believe it's true. Like up they highest viewership in 24 years. So we talking about '02 when the Lakers were probably finishing up their three-peat.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I had no clue that their ratings was doing this well this season. And why I may not be the biggest fan of the style of play today, I like the fact that the NBA is starting to thrive again. So hopefully they can keep it going. Any closing thoughts on this, y'all?
Um, just the fact that, like you said, has been the thing. Like you said, that's shocking is when I get online and I go to different outlets, how much is there and available. So I can't understand that, but like you said, it's just gaining popularity. The birth of a son, he want to be a star. When you in that belly, you actually can hear things. And when people say they birthing a king, queen, you birthing a star, those things are true. And the sport could grow just from, small things like that. So definitely something to look into for next season.
No doubt about that, my man. Uh fellas, the Boston Celtics will sweep the Eastern Conference this season. Respect it or check it, Mossberg.
I know Tatum back with a Mamba mentality. I know Jalen Bizzle over there going crazy, but I'm checking this. This Boston team is very, very good since Tatum's return. I can say that, they've definitely stamped themselves in that East and catapulted themselves in position of where people thought Cleveland was the team of the East. After the Cade injury, up comes Tatum from his injury, and voila, the Celtics are doing what they're doing. But I'm gonna check it, respecting this East. I think this is the toughest the East has been in some years. It's a lot of competition in that East, and I think we're looking at some hungry, young. I would say I'm gonna call some of them young future Hall of Famers of this here NBA that we talking about in 2026 going into the playoffs.
Rob, the Boston Celtics will sweep the Eastern Conference. You respect it or you checking it?
I mean, I'm checking it, man, because ain't nobody gonna sweep it like my Sixers did in '83, bro. We gonna be the first and the last to ever sweep it like that. They are not sweeping it. They are not sweeping it. Are they gonna win the East? I believe so. But are they gonna win every single game in the Eastern Conference playoffs? Nah, man, that's only for my Sixers, man. And I ain't had a whole lot to say about my Sixers. But that's one thing I'm proud of. We went 4-4-4, whatever it was. We didn't lose no games, and I don't think Boston gonna do that.
Man,
Y'all, I'm checking this, but I lightweight want to respect it because I feel like lightweight because I feel like Boston is that good, bro.
they
I,
good.
I, I, I man, I just think like they coaching, they stars is on the level. They play with two huge wings. They got a rim protector. They can shoot the three ball. They've been there before. They have championship pedigree. But to go undefeated in the East, like my pop said, Detroit, Cleveland, Philly with Embiid. If
Man,
Embiid is able to get back and healthy,
yeah,
that will be a tall task. So ultimately, I gotta check it. Any closing thoughts on this, fellas?
man. Anything from you, Unc? I'm just thinking about the fact that when you ask that question, you make me think about, okay, what team could we compare to that Lakers team when you mentioned undefeated in the playoffs? Even though they took one to that AI team we spoke on, I think a week or so ago in 2001, just thinking of that, like this team is built in ways like that, having those role players and having stars like Tatum and Brown, so it's something that's going to be a good thing to key in and look at. And, I'm looking at this Detroit team with Kate Cunningham being at Philadelphia in that East. OKC looking like that Laker team of the West, possibly, or San Antonio.
Well, y'all know Parlay Poe, who's a Boston Celtics fan, every time they play the Sixers, he always throwing that mess in there. Rob, Brian Keaton, and Steve Struggs, what your Sixers gonna do when they meet my Boston Celtics? And we haven't been able to have anything to say about that because Boston been kicking our butts. So I need Boston to get beat in this Eastern Conference by somebody, one or two games. I can't have them go and win them all on their way to the championship round in the NBA finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, to wrap this up, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm checking it, but I think they're capable. I don't
Yeah.
think they will, but I
Oh,
think
for
they had a
sure.
team that's capable of doing that. Moving on, we're gonna stay in the NBA for one last topic. Steph Curry and the Warriors will defeat the Suns to solidify their playoff spot. Respect it or check it, Rob.
Man, I'm respecting this all day. I already told y'all on Tuesday, I need Steph Curry to be in the playoffs, baby. I'm respecting it. And I think we're going to see a show from him and Draymond Green and the rest of those Warriors. They're going to put it on these Suns and they're going to be in this playoffs, man, because it's best for the NBA to have Steph Curry, who was considered one of the best players to ever play the game. You hear his name in that conversation nowadays.
Yes, sir. You hear that name a lot more, and I'm respecting this, man. I'm going with the chef. You know, when I say he's cooking, I don't think it's fish grease. I think it's one of them turkey, hot, fried, deep fried Thanksgiving specials. 30 for 30 for Curry. I smell another 30 ball coming, and I think this is his time. I think we've been waiting for playoff Curry, and I think we just might see it as we seen what he did in a previous game and just clutch bucket after clutch bucket. So I'm respecting this. I love what Curry's doing. I would just love to see him do some March Madness S Curry things in the NBA playoffs this year, 2026.
Yeah, my brothers. Does Curry have one or two more runs left in that body as he's getting up there in age? Sharpshooter. I actually think he's going to play a little longer because of the fact he can shoot threes. Maybe they in a year or two they're going to take him off the ball. Maybe just have him be a spot up shooter. Who knows? But I got to respect this. I had them losing in the first playing game
Mhm.
against the Clippers. Clippers choked that game away. Steph Curry was magnificent. And if he's going to play like that, if he's going to be that sniper, that devastating three-point shooter, I'm respecting this. And I would like to see them in that first round against OKC. I don't think they can beat OKC, but Steph Curry can always make it very interesting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just when when you think about that, playing against a team like OKC, it just made me think about when Kawhi Leonard went up against Golden State Warriors and what he did almost single handedly against that team. I think we in for something special in these playoffs. I would love to see Steph and Cade do some amazing things, which I think we still will see. But I think Steph got something in his bag, man, a tricks, and I think it's some things we haven't seen in a few years because we didn't see him in the playoffs last year. So I'm looking forward to what show he puts on in this game at Phoenix. I think the desert is going to be super dry and thirsty after what Steph do when they come to town for sure.
Yeah, and I know we talk about this all the time, but I think more so in the NBA as opposed to college basketball. I think it's a guard game. I mean, this playoff is proving it. And shout out to One Take Zaya in the chat. Go subscribe to One Take Zaya. He said, "We witnessed greatness last night. Curry on put a show on, and Draymond clamped Kawhi.
Yeah,
No doubt about that."
man.
Pop in the chat. He said, "Shout out to Horford. Horford, 10,000 years old, man. He's still hooping."
Man, hey, shout out to it. I'm glad you mentioned his name. Back to back at Florida. He come to the NBA. He's like that quiet guy that's just adding rings to his collection. But the veteran leadership that he brings, that championship pedigree, that experience, that strength, that he brings so much, man. You know, the moxie. I mean, I would love to have Al Horford on my team any day of the week.
No doubt about that. My man, Lizard 9921. What about Wimby, homie?
It's good to see you in here as well. Yep, yep, yep. Talk to
Yeah,
us.
we appreciate it. But what about Wimby? Let's move on to some college football, fellas.
Mhm.
If you haven't yet, please take time to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Don't matter which channel you watching from, hit that like button, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We working.
Yes, sir.
Let's move to college football, fellas. And I'm gonna start with this. The Big Ten will reign supreme over the SEC for the next decade. Moss, I'm gonna start with you.
You put the camera on me, the guy from the ACC. You know I'm checking this like a cash register clerk when they bring the 20s, the 50s, and the hundreds. I respect what the Big Ten is doing. Don't get me wrong, but when you think of the next decade, I think that's going to be a tall task because the SEC is a conference. I think they've noticed that. If you look at the additions in the portal on both sides, to the SEC and the Big Ten, SEC made some major moves, in this offseason all across the board. So I think, the Big Ten doing what they do is definitely respected, throughout the world, sports, everything. But the SEC, they put them on notice, and the SEC said, we see that, and we going, we have something to say. And I think this is just going to be a battle, throughout ACC. I think it's going to take, a few years for us to really compete, and unless, we have some teams that come in and do some amazing things in these next few years. But I think I'm going to check it, even though I like the way the Big Ten is moving. It's close to a respected, but a decade is a long time. And them Texas Longhorns, they might smell blood, but I'm gonna let Unc talk anything Texas.
The SEC man, Texas Longhorns.
Hey man, listen, I'm checking the hell out of that, man. Come on, man. Listen, we all know how the landscape of college football goes, college athletics, period. The SEC was dominating. The Big Ten made a move, and they got better at doing what needed to be done, and they won the last three. Now it's on the SEC to figure this thing out and start doing it as well. Will the Big Ten still be relevant during this next decade? Of course they will be. But the SEC is going to do some things. They're going to catch up with what's happening, and eventually they're going to even this thing back out again and maybe even take the reins for a minute. And, of course, the Big Ten is going to rebound and bring that thing back. That's just the nature of how this thing goes. Reign for a whole the next decade, I'm checking that all day. It's still going to be good, but I still believe the SEC from top to bottom is still the best conference in the country, even though they don't have the last three national champions.
Ooh.
So I want to ask you something, Rob. With the Big Ten winning the last three national championships, right? Because I believe over the last couple of years, like the first maybe 3 to 4 teams in the Big Ten were better than the SEC's top, 3 or 4 teams. But once you get to that middle and the bottom part of the SEC, I thought the SEC was better. Do you think the Big Ten, as far as their reign on winning championships, is vulnerable this year?
Oh, they're definitely vulnerable this year. I think when you start to look at the top teams that were in the Big Ten the last couple of years, we see Michigan starting to put it back together. They're rebounding from the championship game that they had a couple of years ago. They weren't as good following that following season because they had quarterback issues. Last year, they were starting the true freshmen. So they're on their way back. They got some players on that team. Indiana, their coach found a blueprint, was able to get a bunch of veteran guys, and was able to win it last year. And we saw what Ohio State had to do to win it. They had to go get a quarterback. They had to go get a running back, and they had to go get Caleb Downs. I think if they would have went with what they had on their roster, they probably wouldn't have won that national championship. But I think now we see across the landscape of college football that the teams understand what needs to be done to build a championship caliber team. Now, it's going to keep continuing to change because rules are going to change, the format's going to change, so everybody's going to have to stay up on it. But I like the Big Ten, and they've been the best team, but I still believe the SEC is still the best top to bottom. I hope I answered your question.
100%. That's some great insight. Moss, you think the Big Ten is vulnerable this season?
I think they're very vulnerable. I would agree exactly in how Unc said it. Everything across the board, but not to mention, like, when you think about the portal this year, when you think about the money that's out there and how you could get players to come to your university. We've seen Texas get quite a load this offseason. And when you're able to get that that's saying something, not just in your conference, but across the board to college football. I think when you think of SEC Big Ten, you're not even thinking of the Alabamas, the Ohio States. For me, I'm thinking of the Oregons, the Texas that people talk about since they came in the conference. So for me, you think in Texas, you think in Oregon, you think in Ohio State, Michigan, you think in, Alabama over in the SEC, LSU. I think the big is very vulnerable. I'm gonna respect that one, man.
Yeah, I'm checking this as well. I don't think the Big Ten is going to reign for the next decade. They got some really great programs. In this age of NIL and transfer portal, there's no way one singular conference is going to reign supreme
Yeah.
for a decade. Anything else on that before we move on?
How do you think your Notre Dame Fighting Irish is going to continue to fare with having to compete with the SEC and the Big Ten, who have won the majority of the last maybe 25 national championships? How do you think Notre Dame fares in this bigger picture?
Yeah, I mean, man, the last time Notre Dame won a championship, man, I was running around in a pamper. So go figure, man. I think what Marcus Freeman has done is he's changed the program. He's really opened up the donors and their wallet books or their pocketbooks and their wallets. They're pouring in a lot of money into the football program. There, if you've seen the campus, there's been so much renovation and construction. Uh, Marcus Freeman was God sent, and I appreciate what he's doing. I think they're going to be in the hunt for years to come, starting this season. I truly do. I really believe they'll be right there, especially them having a chip on their shoulder. Whether you disagree or not, they got a chip from feeling like they should have been in the playoffs. So I like the fact that they carrying that chip on their shoulder into the season. And I think Marcus Freeman has positioned this program to be right in the thick of things with the Big Ten, the SEC, and whoever to compete for dominance. Let's yeah, you got anything, Moss?
No, I was just when you mentioned Freeman, I just think of like you said, man, changing the culture of the program. 43-12 since being a coach, his job is good. I mean, that's all I could really say, man. I love what Freeman is doing.
Yeah, no doubt. One thing Marcus Freeman has to do, and I know y'all heard me say this before, Marcus Freeman has to avoid the big letdown game, which is normally the second game of the season. He's at the point now where all the growing pains from being a first time coach should be over and done with. Okay. This year 5. We don't want to hear no excuses. You got all the players you need. You got all the money you need. You got the coaching staff. Let's put it all together and get a natty.
Mm.
Let's hold on, we got a comment. Yep, win a chip. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's stay in college football, fellas. And let's turn our attentions to Coach Prime. I love Coach Prime. But and I'm gonna start with you on this, Rob. Having a surgery weeks ago to address blood clots. Coach Prime should retire and focus on his health. Respect it or check it.
I'm respecting it all day, man. I'm a huge fan of primetime Deion Sanders, man. But the thing that concerns me is once your health starts to you start to have some problems, you have to take yourself out of certain situations that can be strenuous on you mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever the case may be. You got to remove yourself from that. And we all know that coaching takes a lot because we may have coached on some smaller levels than what he has, and we know how stressful that was. He needs to really go ahead, focus on his health. Don't have the mindset, and I know he doesn't have this mindset. Don't have the mindset that if you go away from this, you won't have the motivation to beat something. And I know he doesn't think like that. He's a real spiritual man, and I love that about him. But he really should. Somebody in this corner should be saying to him, let's step away from this for a while, get ourselves to where we want to be physically, health wise, and then we can always revisit it. We've seen coaches do that since we've been watching sports.
Moss, before you cook, I just want to add some context to this.
Yeah.
Since 2021, Prime has had 14 surgeries, bro. Since 2021, he's had 14 surgeries. Moss, you
Man,
respecting or checking this?
I'm respecting it. That's like you asking me the question: should Unc continue to play if he got a twisted ankle? You know that he can't do what he normally do. Nah, I'm respecting it all the way. Health is wealth. I think when you think of Coach Prime, you think of legendary, Hall of Famer, um, one to none, greatest cornerback to ever touch the field of a football with a football on it, any field. He's the cornerback when he's on the field. Don't matter if it's a baseball diamond or not. They gonna know him from what he did on that football field. So I think for himself, like Unc said, that's the strains they could put on you, whether it's mentally and physically. Coaching is something different, and a lot of people don't know until you experience that. I think for me, I would rather him take that time to get his health better because seeing him healthy is even a different prime. Not seeing him healthy, we're not going to get the full prime time. And when I say prime time, we know what comes with that, the music and all those things. So I'm going to respect this one.
I have no choice but to respect this. I mean, if it was something where they were going in and cleaning up something, getting rid of something, and now he's good to go. Just recover, and now you good to go.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I don't
I
know if
say,
that's yeah. I don't know if that's the case, man. I don't know if he's gonna be uh if this is something he's gonna continue to deal with. If this is something that he continues to deal with throughout his coaching career, man, I really hope he considers hanging it up and just getting healthy, man. He's a father first. He's a God fearing man. He's a father. I definitely want him to be around for his children. Not saying that he won't if he continues to coach, but I just wish the best for Coach Prime, man. Any
definitely.
one take said, Rob, you sleep?
One
Hey,
take in
listen,
the building.
he don't want to be the only one who fell asleep on stream before. He want me to join the club with him, but it ain't happening, bro.
That's man, epic, man. That was epic, man.
Let's stay with college football, fellas. And I got another one for y'all. USC, the Lady Trojans, I mean the Trojans, will finally make the college football playoffs this season. Moss, respect it or check it.
And they was right there last year. I rock with these Trojans. Shout out to my pops. He a big Trojans fan. I'm respecting this, man. I'm respecting what the Trojans have built over these past few years. I think they're a very dangerous team. And King is in the backfield over there in Southern California. They got a King in that backfield. Things could get hectic. And we talk about a King in basketball, so I'm gonna talk about this young King in football. We watching a young Reggie Bush S and the skill set that we seeing out of him at USC. So I'm respecting this with USC, and I think they're gonna shock a lot of people with what they have coming in on both sides of the ball. Just go check what they did with the recruit class that stayed at number one, which I spoke on, as well as that transfer portal. So that's something that's crazy that I said that they would hold on to that number one spot, and they did.
You did. You did. Props to you, man, because I didn't think they would hold on to the number one recruiting class, but they did. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Level Up Sports 10. Rob, USC will make the college football playoffs this season. Are you respecting or checking?
I'm checking it. I'm checking it. I'm checking it. Listen, until they prove that they can play some defense in a conference where you got to be able to play defense, you got to be able to stop the run, you got to be able to keep teams from controlling the clock and keeping your offense on the sideline. We know what they can do offensively, but until they are able to stop somebody, they're not going to make the college football playoffs. Now, they did have the number one recruiting class. Maybe in a couple of years, they get this defensive woes that they've had fixed, and then they can make the playoffs. But I don't think they do it this year. I think they're going to be a 3-loss, 4-loss team again this season coming up because of their defense.
I know we still in spring. We still early. We got a ways to go. But if y'all were to say what is USC's ceiling in the Big Ten standings? What y'all think their ceiling is? Top three, top four?
I believe we're always going to see USC in the top 5 in that conference. I mean, when you think about Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, then you start to see where USC, Indiana, if Indiana can keep it up, and then if Penn State can right the ship, you're going to see them right in that cluster around 3, 4, 5. I don't know if they're ready to take the reins to be a top 2 team in the Big Ten yet, because defensively they're just not ready yet.
What say you, Moss?
I like what he mentioned with that too, because it made me think the fact of when you think about the Big Ten, when you come over with these teams, of course, even when Oregon and USC was in the Pac-12, Oregon still did their fair share of winning over USC at that time. So, coming over to the Big Ten, you got Ohio State, you got Michigan, you got, of course, Oregon, then you got Penn State, who was a top over the USC, and then you seen this year Indiana. So my thing would be, is this the year as well with them? I feel being in that top 5, could they be the team that move up when Indiana and Penn State is not doing what they've done these past few years? Is that something that we could be looking at in the Big Ten? Is it the not passing of the torch, but teams stepping up and doing and showing like, hey, we still belong here in this conference, even though we have teams that's been doing what they do. So I don't know. I just like what they've done. And like you said, I think it'll take them a couple of years, but top 5.
Yeah, fellas, what is if USC does miss out on the playoffs this season? What does that say about Lincoln Riley?
I mean, if Lincoln Riley and them did not get the number one recruiting class this year, I think he would have been on a hot seat, because he hasn't been able to go into the Big Ten and be in the top 2, top 3 in that conference. Now, you look at their schedule, though, this year, they have a very favorable schedule. Yeah. They could definitely go 10-2 with this schedule that they have. 9-3 at the worst, because the schedule is pretty weak in comparison to what I think Ohio State got and what some of those other teams have. But as far as Lincoln Riley is concerned, if he don't get that thing turned around, and I think it's simply because of his defense, they know he can score some points. They know that's his thing, but he hasn't been able to get a defensive-minded guy who's good enough to get them to turn the corner. And maybe it's because of the way he runs his ship. And maybe USC will decide to move on from him if they don't fare well this year, especially with that favorable schedule they had.
First of all, man, Pop is crazy. He said can't stop a YMCA team. That's the reason why I'm personally checking this. Look, fellas, their defense is the issue. I don't know if their defense is going to improve enough to come into the Midwest in October and November when we got hoodies and lone socks on. It's different from that West Coast, man. So that's my biggest concern about USC. You got to come into the Midwest. You got to come into our weather, our atmosphere, and beat us at our style of football. Because I don't think you can just hope to outscore these teams. So I'm checking this. One take Zay says USC schedule is pretty hard. They got OSU, Penn State, Oregon, Washington, and Indy. Any thoughts on that, Rob?
Yeah, I missed that. I was about to tell him that I missed that IU game, and they got to travel to Indiana. So, yeah, that is a tough one. I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in Washington. I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in Penn State with the situations that they have. But you got Ohio State, you got Oregon, and you got Indiana. So those are three really, really tough games. And they got to travel to Indiana. That could be three losses right there that keep them out of the college football playoffs. But I agree with you, FanDuel. One take, Zaya. Their schedule is a little bit tougher than I first thought.
Anything else, Moss?
No, I was just about to say, thinking of Indy, and I agree with him on Penn State, Washington not being, I think, two top teams. I think USC could definitely take care of them. I'm going to say USC even gets on the road at Indy right here, right now, tonight. I'm going to say USC wins that game. Jacoby Lane has a breakout Big Ten game of his career.
Jacoby Lane? I thought he entered the draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if some of them kept their agents to come back or not. Some of them did, but I wasn't for sure. But I think they win that game still, whether they have him or not. Hines was a receiver that came on late in the season throughout that time while he was playing as well in some big games for USC. So I like this USC team. I think they're going to have some young guys that come in and step up right away.
Like post game said, this game is late in the season against Indiana too, and in Indiana, so we know that weather gonna be nuts.
Yeah. That's why I'm picking an upset, and I think the reason why is just because of that fact. I think it'll be that type of season where USC has to win that type of game, and it'll show, what we've been speaking on. Are they this strong of a team? Are they a playoff team? And I think it'll answer a lot of critics, as far as in Lincoln Riley as well with this number one class coming in.
How y'all feel about one take's comment? Gary Patterson, I believe defensive coordinator.
I love the fact that they got Gary Patterson to finally stop doing his music, to get back into coaching. They're going to be better defensively this year, but I'm telling you right now, in year 2 and 3, if he doesn't go and get another head coaching job, their defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the Big Ten and in college football in a couple of years, because Gary Patterson is one hell of a defensive coach.
I agree with that 100%. I just don't think this coming season is the year. They'll eventually get there. But let's great college football chop up. I got one for y'all for the NFL draft, man. There will be 2 teams in the top 10 that make trades. 2 teams will trade out of their pick with a team, and two teams will trade into the top 10. Respect it or check it, Moss. I believe it's on you.
This is tough, because the thing I said I feel there's going to be an offensive line record. In order for that to happen, this has to happen with these trades. And there's been a lot of noise about trades happen for teams getting an offensive lineman. For some reason, it's been in the air lately. In the top 10, that's tough. That's tough. But I'm gonna respect it, because there's a couple teams that's really thinking about getting in that top 10, and some already have the top position. And there's rumors even about the Raiders. So many teams at that top spot trading, as well as teams at the lower right outside trading up to try to get in. So I'm a respect this one.
What say you, Rob? Now keep in mind, top 10, we know Vegas is probably taking the quarterback, right? But you got the Jets in there, the Cardinals, your Titans, the Giants, the Browns. I've heard a lot of talk about them trading out. The Commanders, Saints, Chiefs, and Bengals. Any of those guys trading out the top 10, Rob? Respect it or check it?
I don't, man, I don't see nobody in the top five trading out of the top 10. I can see them trading back maybe one or two spots, but I can't see them going out. I want to respect it because I think right around 8, 9, and 10, those teams might trade out, and 11, 12, and 13 might get in. So I'm going to respect it for that reason. And I think that the teams that are picking in those areas have an opportunity to make some moves and get a lot of value because of it. But I think those teams at 11, 12, and 13 understand that this freaking draft in the top 10 players is unbelievable, bro. And I think they're ready to pull the trigger to get in the top 10 to get one of those players, man. So I'm going to respect it because I think it's very, very likely that it's going to happen.
I'm respecting this, fellas. I think the teams to watch when we talk about trading into the top 10 are the teams with multiple first round picks, i.e., the Dallas Cowboys. Cleveland may play around with their or picks. Uh, who else? The Jets. The Jets may play around in some kind of way.
Yeah.
So I'm respecting this. I think we see at least two trades in a coming NFL draft. Our man One Take back in the chat, he said, I think the Rams will move into the top 10 to get a key piece for this championship window.
It's
I don't disagree with that. I would definitely wouldn't be surprised. Go ahead, Moss.
it's crazy. I've been watching like some of the guys I watch. Shout out to the guys out there. I watch so many different YouTube channels, man. Shout out to what you do out there as well on your streams. They had Devontae Adams in a trade for Smith from Philly and a draft pick. It's crazy that he said that. I just thought about that with the Rams. I was watching the show and they had a little mock draft and they had Adams leaving LA, but Smith coming over, a younger target and a draft pick, which was crazy to me. So I don't know, just thought about it.
Anything else before we move on, fellas?
Man, I totally agree with what you're saying right there, One Take Zay, because those Rams, this was their Super Bowl this year, bro. And the Seattle Seahawks, which they probably didn't think they was going to be this good, man, ended up stealing one from them. Because I'll guarantee you, they felt going into the season with the moves they made, they were the best team in the NFL. And then freaking Seattle Seahawks came and stole one from them. So they got a bad taste in their mouth, and they're going to try to rectify it because, like you said, their window is right now with the quarterback that they have, and they're going to have to make something happen. But they got to get past them Seattle Seahawks, who we know eventually that team is going to get broken up because that's how all championship teams do. You do good for a year or two, and then it get broke up because guys want to go somewhere else and get that bread.
These are facts. Let's move to the WNBA, fellas. Asia Wilson gets the biggest contract in WNBA history. 3 years, $5 million. Respect it or check it, Rob.
Man, I'm respecting that all day, man. She's been the best player in the league since she's been there. She's really is, in my opinion, the face of the league. And what her and Bam is doing during her offseason, showing how powerful a couple they are, showing how it's supposed to look when you got two people who feel that way about each other. She hands down deserves that. I'm respecting it. Kudos to Asia Wilson. You deserve it. Now go out there and continue to do what you've been doing so that the women's game can continue to elevate.
Yes, sir. I agree, man. Respect it all day. She's been on a journey since she's been in this WNBA. If you don't know, I would say, man, just go check out her documentary. It's gonna open your eyes to a lot. You know, rest in peace to the great Kobe talks that they had. Um, you know, if anybody can remember Kobe on the sideline with a sweatshirt hoodie, go do your documentaries. Look up the one about Asia Wilson. It'll explain everything to you. It's just special to see where she's at in her career. I think this is a showing, a token, not even of appreciation, but well deserving of what you've been to the WNBA itself since you've come to the league. And before, just been a trailblazer. And like you said, Unc, what her and Bam have going, it's tough to do in today's time. It's great to see black love continuing to be excellent in the world we live in today.
I'm 100% respecting this. Look, she's already a multiple time champion. She's the real face of the league. She's elite. You know, she affects the game in so many different ways, and she's professional. And this beautiful black sister is definitely deserving of that huge contract. I wish she could have got 10, but I'm respecting this. I appreciate Asia Wilson, and she's been a great role model for young ladies coming up after her. Anything else on this, fellas? No?
I don't think we can't say nothing else off that post. You be doing your thing, man. You ended it just the right way, boss. You
Appreciate it, my dog.
know it.
I mean, people, take time to like, take time to subscribe. We appreciate y'all support, man. We working.
Yes,
The
sir.
last topic for tonight's edition of Respect It or Check It. And I'm gonna start with you on this, Moss.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark.
Ooh.
I want y'all to really think about this. Caitlin Clark is the third best player in the WNBA currently. Respect it or check it.
Man, you really got me thinking. I'm thinking about something Zay said when I think of Caitlin Clark. No disrespect, three. Oh man, that's
Because
tough.
we know for sure Asia Wilson and Nafisha Collier are 1 and 2 currently.
Yeah. Yes.
So after that is Caitlin Clark 3.
I think she's arguably in this top five. You could put her three. You could put her four. You could put her five. When it comes to this three, I think it's a run for the money now. I think what we just seen from Paige last year and during the time Caitlin was out, I think her game moved up. So three, I'm gonna say arguably, I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check it with the strength of this league and respecting what we have in the league. And I think in a women's game, when you miss that time with an injury, others could gain much more faster. And I think that's what we see. And right now, I think those rankings can definitely change with this coming season. And we'll see when this season start here in the next week or two. So, I mean, it's tough, but I'm going to say check it with this one.
Rob, Caitlin Clark, top 3 player in the WNBA. Respect it or check it.
Man, I'm checking that, man. She's not even the best player on her team, bro. Listen, I'm checking that. I'm checking that. I'm checking that. Now, is she the top 3 faces of the league? Definitely. She is one of the most marketable players in the WNBA. Top 3 for sure there. But players, nah, I ain't going to be able to do it. I ain't going to be able to do it.
Man,
I love the points y'all make. I'm also checking this. Can she get there this season? Maybe. Maybe. That's a strong maybe. But there are so many fabulous great players in the WNBA that don't get the type of media coverage as a Caitlin Clark. I know she's brought a whole segment of fans to the WNBA. I know she's exciting to watch, and I like watching her. She's tough. She's feisty. She can really shoot the ball from deep. But there are so many great players that aren't talked about on your ESPNs every night that are just hoopers. So top 3, I'm checking it. I'm not even sure if she's top 10, my brothers. Currently, there are some really great basketball players in the WNBA. And the WNBA is really starting to shine, and you're going to really see that this season. So I'm checking that. Anything else before we get out of here, my brothers?
I'm tripping off the fact, and I know what Unc talking about. It's a bucket getter that got college buckets here, right down the road. Kelsey Mitchell, baller. You know,
she got the Supermax, didn't she?
Yeah. You know, she just got Supermax. So when we, you know, like you said, I think you got to give respect to some of these veterans that's still top of their game. Kelsey Mitchell being one, and I think underrated in this WNBA league, man. But we could go on and on, man, about what we doing when we talking these women in sports in general. But man, it was just a great show, man. I was glad to be here and be a part of it. It's always good seeing Unc in the building with us, man. You putting us to work, man, but we love going to work for you. Other than anybody else in the world, you know I go to work for you every day, if that's the case. And when that day come, I can't wait because it's going to be coming sooner than we think.
Anything before we get out of here, Rob?
Nah, man, great show. Glad I could be here with y'all, man. Enjoy it.
Hey, these two men here, I appreciate them to the fullest, man. They bring so much insight to these sports talk. Like, share, subscribe, man. If you ain't liking, if you ain't subscribing, I don't know what you're doing. For Rob of WTP Sports Dudes, for Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10, and me, myself, Post Game of Post Game Sports. Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate it, and we out of here. Peace.
Love.
Low post, mid post, high post. Post game sports.